Huh. Strange. Very strange. Sounded like I don't, for whatever reason, we didn't have audio there in the beginning, but we're all good now. Is everybody good? Everybody can hear me?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Okay. Hey, is this thing on?
Hi.
Dad?
Dad? Dad, is that you? Yeah, no, we're all good. I can see it.
All right, cool.
It wasn't on before.
Woo!
Welcome to this week's episode of Nerd Shit Live. I'm your host, Pat Averano. With me, as always, is my co-hosts, Dan Kilkenny, Nick McFly, and Mike Burke. Yeah, there we go. That's his name.
He remembered.
I did remember. So, what do we talk about this week? What do we got? What are we doing?
We got Nick on mute is what we got.
Well,
Dang.
Oops, that's egg on my face.
So we got some news. We got some some NetherRealm stuff going on. Mortal Kombat game coming out. I don't think. Have you guys looked at this beforehand, right? I hope you guys looked at this beforehand.
Yeah,
we looked at it beforehand. We got that.
NetherRealm's a
we
cool
got the EA.
Minecraft
Got
thing.
EA forcing people to what's it called?
To gamble.
Yes, forcing
Pretty much.
gambling addictions, which is, all in the name of capitalism, right? That's
course.
what we're all about here.
America is the best, and that's why.
And if
Sorry.
you don't like
But
it,
have
you
you
take it
gambled
somewhere
before?
else.
It's pretty fun.
It's pretty damn fun.
and then we actually- okay, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and then tonight we actually do have a special guest coming in to give us an update on the ongoing semiconductor shortage that we're all well aware of.
We can't stop hearing about
All
it.
of us.
That even Biden is bringing up
All
in his
of us.
addresses.
No menthol cigarettes. We'll fix those.
It's true.
we'll
It's
fix
true.
those
They're
semiconductors.
getting rid of the menthol cigarettes, so this way they can get more semiconductors.
What will art students across the world do?
Yo,
And bus drivers. Don't forget the bus drivers.
Of course, the backbone of our society.
yes. God damn it, those menthol cigarettes. When I read that they had fiberglass in them to like cut the back of your throat to get the minty taste in there, I was like, all right, I'm good on these.
Dude,
Like-
that's what chew has. Like when you're packing a lip,
Yeah.
it's got fiber, so it micro cuts you, and then you just absorb all that nicotine.
I packed many lips back in
feel
the
like
day.
They probably could have picked anything other than fiberglass that would have done that job, but probably wouldn't be as terrible.
Just like some rough edges. I don't know if you really need fiberglass.
Just
Dude,
leave
I
a
don't-
couple of
I
the
don't
stems of the
understand.
tobacco on it.
yeah, that'll do the job.
I don't understand what you guys are, worried about. It's just a little fiberglass, okay? All right.
You'll
No
pass it.
harm, no foul.
All
I
right.
was like
the,
fiberglass on the outside of my body.
I'm still here. You know what I'm saying?
I was at the Yankee game yesterday, and there was a guy across the aisle from me who was like dipping like during
And
the
that's
game.
mad
I was just
luxurious.
come on, man.
Come
like
on,
really?
man. It's the
Like,
era
really?
of COVID. You gotta do better.
That's
Yeah,
the
seriously.
one place where you're allowed to dip, and it's okay.
It's,
know what?
I
If you're-
guess,
if
it's like you're not
that's-
a player.
Fair
like,
enough.
Seriously.
Fair enough. Baseball is the one sport where the actual athletes are allowed to inhibit their ability to perform at the highest level while playing the fucking game. So, and you want to know what? I'm with that. Those
It's
guys
a
are
long
big
game.
fucking
There's
dingers.
a reason they have all the gum and the sunflower seeds, because it's boring when there's no action.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love baseball, but I can admit it can get pretty damn boring.
Welcome to Nerd Shit Live, a sports podcast.
Now let's talk about fucking EA's soccer game.
Sports. Will they exist? Well, I'm here to tell you, folks,
Maybe.
they're not. They're
All
not.
right, Pat,
All
why don't
right.
you give us our lead-off story?
All right. The NetherRealm studio apparently is working on a Marvel game. So, hooray! All right. So it's light on details. However, what's his name? Some guy gave a quote. Let me look at his name. I'm telling you, I did no notes before the show. Either way, this comes from comic book. It comes from comicbook.com. The new report, which comes way of Daniel Reichman via stealth optional, is light on details, but his name is Reichman, or it's Rickman with a T.
Yeah.
Arlen,
Alan Rickman
Reichman.
claims that the game is in production.
Yeah, it's already in production for next gen consoles on PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. You'd assume a PC version is in the works. I would assume that because we do take up a large size of the market.
Most likely.
But it sounds like PS4 and Xbox One users are gonna miss out. And hey, listen, what a great game to bring the new standard. Am I right? Just leave why are we holding on to old things?
I was about
leave
to
the
say
tech behind.
This is officially now the changing of the guard. I mean, this is this is a game that's just going to be like, all right, fuck you guys. I'm one of those guys. And it's just like, all right, get you guys.
To be fair, I think
Grand Theft Auto 5 will hold that system alive. Both of those systems alive.
I kind of feel like Returnal just came out on Friday, and I think that's just a PS5 exclusive, kind of like Demon Souls. So I think that's like, this will be another one of those like next gen exclusives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was only released on PS5.
Returnal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I just, the thought of 3 to 4 hours worth of work can go all the way because the game has no autosave function. That's the point of the fucking game.
Yeah, that's
autosave.
No autosave.
The 21st century doesn't have.
I don't know.
Like that came out after 2015.
That's part
I
of
think Monopoly still hasn't gotten an autosave.
No. I have the
Monopoly has a lot of other
phone app. We have
No. I'm talking about the board game, Mike.
Oh,
Still have not figured that out yet.
You mean your drunk uncle doesn't write things down on the back of the box while you're playing and then lie and punch the numbers?
Steal a couple of hundreds from the bank.
Where'd you get those pink
Classic.
50s, Nana? Fucking touch me, Grandpa.
I don't
Nana is a
believe
cheating
Nana.
whore.
So what I want to know about this game is, do you think that they're going to use the likenesses of the actors in the movies?
No, not at all. No, that I mean, I don't think
Injustice didn't, right?
Injustice did not. I think DC kind of has
okay, but yeah, what is DC? Who gives a shit about what the actors in the DC movies look like?
They did have Mark Hamill do the voice for Joker, so I mean that was like
in the Injustice games. No, they did. That's Troy. That's Troy Baker. That's Troy Baker.
Oh.
And in the latest Marvel game that came out, the one that flopped, they didn't use the likeness in that one, right?
That's true.
I don't think they did.
Which
I think
games?
it's just too
Avengers
expensive for a game that. What's up?
The Avengers game, Square Enix.
Yeah. They didn't use their likeness in that.
I mean,
right?
they look
it's
like
too much money for a game that they know is gonna flop.
Okay, here's what I'm hoping for. I've played both. I've played a couple Mortal Kombat games, and I've played both Injustice games. And here's what I'm looking for in this game. I'm looking for good story. I'm looking for at least fun gameplay, but most importantly, I want it to be brutal, like the Injustice games and the Mortal Kombat games. Not bloody. Doesn't need to be like, I'll rip your head out of your ass bloody. Like, I'm talking like, somebody at least gets hit with a plane. You know what I mean? Something on that level, Could
you imagine like the Hulk ripping off Iron Man's head?
Yeah,
that would be nuts.
It's like limb from limb from limb.
Or like,
and then he marries Jarvis.
Captain America just fucking decapitates someone with that shield. Just
wait, that's already happened.
He wasn't Captain America. He was not Captain America.
So Pat, is there? I haven't played the Injustice games, but is there a story with them outside of it being like a?
Oh yeah, there's a big comic run. Now,
really?
I can't seem to figure out if the Injustice comic run came before the games. I don't know why. I have read a lot of the Injustice comic. I didn't finish it because it was just like too much at one point. Because DC just gets bigger and bigger, as the story goes on. So I was just like, I can't fucking keep up. However, what was I gonna say? The story in the game is unbelievable, and in Injustice 2, it's like 10 times better. It's one of the best fucking DC stories I think the property has. As a matter of fact, if you're not gonna play the game, I'd recommend that you just go look up like the fucking cutscene movie that's like 3.5 hours of cutscenes and watch that, because that tells a good enough story.
No, I'm gonna do that tonight.
What is the story exactly? Because I just thought it was just a fighting game. I didn't know. I just knew it was successful. That's
literally why I asked.
Injustice 1 is about an alternate reality. Superman. In an alternate reality, Joker uses Scarecrow's fear toxin on Superman and makes him kill Lois Lane and his unborn child. Because of that, Superman goes evil and kills Joker and starts dispatching people he does not agree with.
I mean, if
Batman's
someone
like,
killed my wife and unborn child, I would, and I had the powers of Superman, I would probably also kill the Joker.
so Batman is like, hey, not about this. This guy's going around killing people unchecked. So he forms one faction, and then Superman forms something called God, what was it? He forms his own faction. It's not the Brotherhood. That's the X-Men shit.
But he forms another faction.
He forms another faction. He ends up taking the entire he ends up ruling the entire planet and pretty much like putting Batman in a position to where he has to take another Batman and another Justice League from another universe, bring them to this universe, and help him dispose of Batman. And the cool thing is that it flips everything on its head. Like, Green Lantern shows up as a fear lantern. The Flash is a drone of Superman. Like, Wonder Woman's in love with Superman because they're two gods. Yeah, it's this cool alternate reality that the Justice League we know, besides for Superman, Flash, and Cyborg, get pulled into, and we see it through their perspective. And then eventually, the only way that Justice League ever knows how to win is they just pull Superman in from the other side and have him kick the bad Superman's ass.
Superman. The classic.
And then Injustice 2, there is no time travel alternate dimension. It's just in the Injustice universe with evil Superman, Brainiac comes to invade the planet, and despite all of Batman's best efforts, can't stop him. So they let out Superman to help them. So they beat Brainiac, and then they use Supergirl to beat Superman. And there you go. And they put Superman away. Well, there's two endings. There's like, you could put Superman away, or Batman becomes a drone of Superman. So
I thought like each character
it's fun.
had like an ending. Like
they kind of have their own like little ending, like little like slideshow that says what happens to them, like moving forward.
Like the end of Animal House.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like the end of Animal
like
House.
Exactly like that.
So that's how
Flash went off the grid.
Just the point here is that these games are not just good fighting games. They are deeply rooted in the lore of these characters, and they are very interesting spins on them. And they're like, seriously, I'm begging for Marvel to get a treatment like this, and not like some cheesy ass like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or like Ultimate Alliance 3.
Those tanked, right?
No,
like,
I mean they were okay. I like the first two Ultimate Alliance games because they were serious in tone. This one was kind of goofy. I want like another realm. Serious, these guys are fucking each other up in the streets type of vibe. I think the Injustice 2 is rated M. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think it's
now what are the odds that some years down the road we may get a Marvel versus DC fighting game?
I mean, it's not impossible. I'm just saying that, Marvel is owned by Disney, and that's all you have to say about that.
Is there a DC versus Capcom game?
Yes.
Can I fight Batman as Mega Man? That's a thing I can do?
No, there is a DC versus Mortal Kombat game, though.
No. I want what I want.
You didn't hear me. I don't think you understood what I said.
I want to go pew pew as Mega Man right into Bruce Wayne's top 1% face.
All right, fair enough. I don't have the answer to these questions. All right, so moving on to the next story.
Yeah, thanks for the diatribe.
Is what the fuck are we doing next? EA is forcing people to pay for loot boxes.
EA is allowing 13-year-olds to gamble.
Speaking of the 1%.
Yeah, he can
shove it just right back up your ass.
Okay, you piece of shit. EA. So, Electronic Arts has denied any part of the FIFA 21 is linked to gambling and says spending on loot boxes is optional. However, the problem is the UX of the game is heavily designed to push that on you and put it in your face. And in one of these games in the last couple years, they had full-blown ads in a paid-for game.
It was in one of the sports games. Right? Like it was
in FIFA. It was in a FIFA game.
It was in
FIFA. Yeah.
FIFA, like they got which EA is just a lazy company to begin with. They're lazy. They just resend out the same games every single year. I love Madden, but I only buy Madden every like 4 years or so because it's just the same shit. However, FIFA, they fucked it up so bad that when FIFA 21 came out, in the game, like in the stadium, you can see that it still says FIFA 20 in a lot of the games. Like they didn't
No
even
kidding.
change
That
the
is
template in some of the
amazing.
stadiums.
Ah,
It's actually tomorrow's like Xbox announcement is supposed to be like the entire catalog of Resident Evil games and FIFA 21 again. So, and that it's coming to Game Pass. So I'm just saying, like,
you want to play some FIFA 21? That's
no,
labeled
like they
FIFA
know
20.
they fucked up. They know they fucked up. But what's interesting is that the bullet point at the top of this leaked 54-page document says we are doing everything we can to drive players there, which basically means like the loot box purchasing. That is so fucked up. And now here's the interesting part. I was talking to my girlfriend's father, and he told me yesterday that cable TV used to have no commercials because you were paying for it. Now, cable TV is mostly commercials, and it doesn't matter if you're paying for it.
Well, you're just
So
gonna,
I'm just saying, you know,
that's inevitably. You can make more money. You will always find a way. And
Exactly. At
You
the
used
end
to
of
be
the-
able to take a piss and not see an ad. Like now, that's like
now I gotta disable the ad chip in my brain.
I can't
I
take
have
out
an
my
ad
dick to
blocker
take
in
a
my
piss
brain.
without seeing ads.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, EA, you know, they're just trying to make money. Like, all right, I get it. They just want to make money. That's fine. But don't make it's literally gambling.
Yeah, but
You're
dude,
paying
before
for
this
loot
shit-
crate that you don't know if it's
Like,
going to be a good thing
how
or not.
much
If
more-
I'm paying for something, I want it to be
How much more
good.
do they need though, dude? Like this shit alone, without these fucking like algorithms they run to push these players to buy loot boxes, made them fucking $2 billion in profit. In
Yeah,
just
in
this,
profit.
just
Yeah.
this, not the sales of games, not the fucking DLC,
that's-
just this shit.
That's fine. And it's every company's prerogative to just make money. I get that they're just trying to push people to make money. However, obviously the way they're doing it is shitty. They're
And it's
forcing
also like-
people
I'm
to
just saying-
gamble
I'm
in
just
a
saying-
game they already purchased.
13-year-olds
It's
play
exploiting
this.
children.
Yeah,
which
13-year-olds play
It
this.
shouldn't be
Yeah.
gambling. Shouldn't be allowed. It should be. Do you want this? Do you want this? You got to pay for
Well,
it. It shouldn't
here-
be. You could get this or this, but you got to pay.
But not even on a moral level. I just want to know, what does a loot box in a sports game look like? Like, I understand it's like if you're playing a game, you're a pirate. Oh, you get a loot box, or you're playing some game
a
with
literal
guns,
loot box.
a literal loot box, or you're playing a game that has like different weapons and stuff. What could possibly be in a soccer loot box?
I'm sure
an
it's all,
extra
like,
ball,
skins and, like it's a cool ball.
shorter
or
shorts.
Maybe Nike or Puma paid them extra money to have an exclusive loot box only Drake.
I have the Verizon wireless only socks in
Yeah.
FIFA 21.
And I got in my loot box signs that actually say FIFA 21 that update the FIFA
Yeah.
20 signs
Yeah,
in the
That's how you get the
stadium.
patch.
But you have to manually, your character has to manually put them up.
Yeah, you got to go and like.
It's a
press it up
mini
again.
game. You gotta redress the whole.
I got the first
That's a
year red
survival.
shirt DLC skin. Now everybody thinks I'm youthful.
I mean, what it actually is, to be honest, I have no clue. I have no clue
No.
what's in FIFA loot crates, to be honest. But
This would
that
be much
doesn't
more
mean
fun.
It's
It-
not a shitty thing.
There was a guy who used to host this show who he's a sucker for skins in loot boxes. This man will spend money on DLC characters like no tomorrow.
You know, some people just have their thing. Everyone's got a vice.
One of
Some
my
people's
one of my-
vices are loot crates.
One of my favorite things in this that like was coming from the article that we're talking about is so EA has publicly denied that it does, anything with gambling. They say we want to look at it as surprise mechanics.
That pisses me off so much when they say that.
Wait, hold on. Similar to the thrill of opening a Kinder Surprise egg. That
There
real
is nothing. At least you still get chocolate.
But
when
I
you open up
know
the Kinder
what's
egg.
in the egg when I buy the egg. I don't know what's in the loot box when I spend money on the loot box.
I know. Also, my number one favorite justification they have for this is they say, well, you can play the games without it, and then they also said, that the majority of players do not buy loot boxes.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's literally the like tried and true mechanic of gambling. You don't make money off of me when I go down to Atlantic City with $100.
Exactly.
You make money off the whale dude who is going down there betting $10,000 hands. Like,
No, that's such a good point.
Bro.
They're it's addicts. There's gambling addicts. That's who they're making their
Listen,
money
it's
off.
like most people who try cocaine don't have a cocaine problem, and it's like, okay, well, again, the people that do.
Listen, I don't want to, be the elitist here. However, I've been in the casino business for 35 years, and I can tell you guys right now that the house always wins. Okay?
Always.
The house
Well,
always
it
wins.
depends on how much they are winning, though. It's like you're not taking advantage of somebody versus them buying a good time. Mike going down there
Right.
with $100, he's intending to lose that $100.
Yeah, no. I'm not going down there to make.
But what I want to see,
You're not you're not trying to get a
Mike, you hit
digital
on-
pair of pants.
Mike, you hit on something really good. Why is there no loot boxes when you buy drugs?
Ooh,
That's where we need to corner the market. Like,
it's like here
You
you
know.
bought an eighth, and then it's like,
yeah,
We set up a
Figure out-
table.
there's a Kinder Surprise.
We set up a table. We
just
put 3
a
red
nugget of
cups.
weed in a Kinder
We
Surprise.
put 3 red cups. We take his money. We switch it all around. All right. Which one is it?
One of these is going to give you a good time for a couple hours. One of them is going to make you a lifelong addict.
And the other one's an
You
egg
don't-
with a
you don't-
Kinder
the other one is
Surprise
fake.
in it.
yeah.
The other one
one's
is
bar
oregano.
chocolate.
The other's oregano. Honestly, 67.
Oh, looks like our caller's in. Look at this. All right, hey, you're on the air with Nerd Shit Live.
Danny, this is Batman calling you from Wayne Manor.
What's going on, Bats? Good to hear from you again. By now, I'm sure you've heard about the issues with the semiconductor
I
market.
know there's a semiconductor shordage. I'm well aware of it.
Okay, great. Because as you know, the tech industry was hit pretty hard with this since the pandemic. We're wondering if we can get our hands on some new gadgets, as I'm sure you are too. So what updates do you have for us?
Danny, I want to assure you, the global semiconductor shortage is being investigated. Batman is on the case. I'll come to the bottom of it.
Batman, I thought you already did your detective work. You told me over the phone earlier you had important updates. That's why you were invited on the show.
It's not who you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you.
What? Listen, I don't want to be rude here, man, but with all due respect, it doesn't sound like you did a damn thing and you just wanted to be on the show. Oh wait, are you texting me
Who
right
has
now?
their phone on the show?
This is just for you, Danny.
Are you serious? What is this? This is unprofessional and uncalled
I
for.
am
Look at this.
vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
All right, get out of here, you fuck.
What the fuck? Fuck Batman. Jesus Christ.
Why are you inviting these people on the show?
What a prick.
You know, they
Here we were thinking we
wait.
got the best detective in the world to look at the semiconductor shortage, and he just sends me nudes.
Can we
I
see
mean,
that again?
Yeah,
Was that
can you?
Yeah,
Did you
hold
say
on.
that?
I mean, I don't want to look at it again because that's
Well,
just filthy.
that's
that is-
That's a bulge and a half.
That's a solid
You
bulge.
know,
that
he-
is raunchy. Look
Get
at
that out of the camera. You get
That
that down.
was
God.
something else.
Jesus.
All right.
Who hired him?
I don't think we should have any more guests calling in until they're vetted.
Exactly. Yeah,
should
I don't know
use-
if you trust the Dark
We
Knight.
should use the custom bell if we're gonna
Recording.
have people calling. That's the sound we need for when people call the show.
That'll definitely improve the quality of the call.
Certainly will. Certainly.
All right. Well, that was Batman updating us on the semiconductor shortage.
Yep. Well, did he
Which
really?
basically-
Was it an update? Was
I
that- is that
actually
what
do
we're
have an
talking about?
update for you guys if you want to know. Intel's building.
You
a-
have an update and
I
Batman
Pat,
has-
do. I do.
Pat, what
I
did you-
actually
Pat,
do.
What did you just send me on my phone? With your, oh, come on.
This would be so great if you just had a photoshopped image of me. I'd be like, why do you carry that around?
It's in my
Okay.
wallet.
Well-
it's all bent up and clearly worn.
He shows it to people. He's like, "Hey, you want to see something special?"
My friend's in there.
My friend's in there. I actually do have an update. It's kind of funny because while the surprise phone call from Batman, I saw it yesterday. It was like Intel's gonna build a plant in New Mexico to up the production of semiconductor chips. So hey, maybe we'll get some new stuff. What is this?
So can I finally?
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
even
Batman
lower
dick
of a
root
cut.
going on there.
That is some bat root right there for sure.
Oh,
Bat
my God. Some
He's
bat-
he's awfully
right,
pale.
leading right down to the bat cave.
I'll give you one more.
Oh, did he
Oh
send
my
these
God.
to you too? Oh God.
Yes, he sent them all to me.
Oh my
What
God.
did
He was
What
like,
did-
"What
that's
do
why-
you?" He's like, "What do you think's the sexiest?"
That's why he was
Should I
typing
send
so
to
much. That's why he's so furiously on the keyboard.
All right.
All right. Well, that's
Oh,
Batman.
yeah. Okay. So, Invincible season 1. We're gonna do like 3 to 5 minutes of non spoilers, and then we're gonna talk about whatever we want. I think that's fine, right? Are we cool with that, everyone?
Yeah, that works.
This
Yeah,
this
it's
whole
fine.
episode so far is just buying time for this conversation.
What's really funny about like that whole last bit is that like it went from one place to another in a very short amount of time, and I kind of can't believe it's over. But I am looking forward to the future because I realize that we have a whole nother 4 minutes of footage that we can
we
mine
gotta-
from.
He's just been calling you. It seems like.
Yeah, no, I can't get this guy to stop calling me. It's a little ridiculous. Like I'm out to dinner. I'm laying in bed. He's just always calling. While he's pooping too. He
Yep.
only calls me when he's pooping.
And oh no.
Oh, God.
Is Alfred there when he poops?
Danny
I mean,
goes
he's-
to
Oh,
bed
yeah,
at
yeah.
night,
Who do you
and all
think's
he
cleaning
just
up?
hears is
Oh,
recording.
no.
Bring, bring, bring,
Can I get that for my ringtone?
Yeah, I can send you that for a text tone. All
want
right,
that as
so
my ringback.
Invincible season 1,
Invincible.
everyone. This is a good fucking show. This is actually probably one of the best shows I've seen in a very long time.
I came into it with such low expectation. Not that I thought it was going to be bad. I just wasn't expecting much, and I was blown away by how good it was.
I think a lot of it comes from the voice acting in it is done by actual legitimate, very quality actors, and I think that really strongly influences like the emotionality of the show. Because I mean, it's like for sure, like the visually show's all right. They had a low animation budget. It's the first season, but like for it to still have like as much of an impact and like emotional pull on me, like you gotta give so much.
Apparently,
of that voice acting
they didn't
credit.
have a
absolutely.
budget for the fucking sound department until the 5th episode. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
Yeah.
I think they definitely like realized that a lot of people were complaining about the sound and kind of like re-edited and tweaked it.
I think what caught me off guard the most, which I then ended up just loving this, was just the brutal violence of the show and how they really captured. This is what a superhero can probably really
Yeah,
do
this
in
is
real life.
This is
He
like
can beat you to a pulp.
this is also like based in that reality where like, hey, if two godlike beings throw each other through a city building, you've killed 400 people.
It
Right, like
really captured like the civilian aspect of it, where you just see dead bodies everywhere,
Yeah.
just blood everywhere. It was brutal. Like I've never seen a superhero
Well,
movie.
I mean, like,
show.
not that I don't think that's a new concept. I mean, we saw DC do it with the Superman movies, but just on a totally different scale. Whereas like DC felt very just like, oh well, let's try to do this thing to try and make it emotional. Where Invincible really invested the time and built up. These characters have such. Like they really wear their emotions all over. They're poorly rendered cartoons, but I was so like torn up by what they were going through.
Well, I think DC captured like a lot of the emotional impact that it has on civilians, but this captured the true horror and trauma that superheroes and supervillains would
it's
have
like-
on the populace.
It's like having a 9/11 happen every other week. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of
Well,
the world
that's-
that they live in. I
That's
mean,
one of the like the real interesting things about it that I like, and we'll get into it in a bit when we talk about like more specifically what we're talking about. But like one of the things I had a little bit of a problem about, and that kind of pulled me out of it, was like Mark seems to be doing quite okay in the grand scheme of things for the amount of like gore that has been introduced in his life within the last 6 months. And like, because think about if this was you and if you saw like
Mike,
As a
you know,
17-year-old.
you know the types of videos that I watch when I go on Reddit. I would
There's
not.
one
be
thing,
fazed.
Nick. Someone's head just gets imploded next to Nick and he's just like live
Yeah.
leak.
yo,
Like,
that was
this is
actually
a
kind
lot
of
for
fucked
someone
me up.
who's 17 and just came into their powers to deal with.
Speaking of that kind of fucked me up. That was like that day that Nick was like, my favorite subreddit got closed down today. And I was like, oh, what was that? And I thought it was going to be like r/design or r/da-da. And he was like, r/watch people die, bro. I love that subreddit. It was the best.
Listen, I'm not saying like I was like giggling while I was looking at it, but there was something about it that I could not look away.
Morbid
Watching
curiosity. It's morbid curiosity.
Morbid curiosity. It's the same, that's why everybody loves the Saw movies. It's just like as long as
I
it's not
love
happening
me
to
some
you,
good old torture porn.
it's that same kind of concept of where it's like, you're standing like next to like a child and it's like push the kid down that you just like mentally have.
Mike,
That's-
I don't think that.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
Don't worry.
Danny, it's like that thought I had at the wedding over the weekend. You just have those horrible, intrusive thoughts.
They just happen. They
is
just come up. They're like, what if I just shove someone in front of traffic?
Yeah, or you're like, you're
'cause
you're at a
it's a way
beautiful
of, like,
wedding
your-
ceremony, and you're like, hey, this is all wonderful. It'll suck in 60 years when one of them has Alzheimer's and they won't remember it. Like that's what I thought. Like it's just an intrusive thought, It's just.
But it's there.
It's there. That's just what happened.
All right, we're getting off track here.
Yeah. So the one thing that I want to say about the brutality of it, though, is that there's plenty of media out there that's brutal for the sake of being brutal, and that usually doesn't do anything for me. I don't like seeing blood and guts. That's one thing that really does faze me. Is like I don't like seeing the insides of people. But this balances it so well with the emotional character-driven stuff. It's earned. It's not just like, let's be gross. Let's have this like gruesome battle scene. They earn every single punch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the impact of the gore is just to do that, is to create
feel
impact.
like-
It's not gore for the sake of gore.
I feel like it plays into the character of, are we doing spoilers? Do you want to do
We're now
spoilers?
into spoilers. If you've
Okay,
not seen
cool.
the spoiler
Uh,
section
Do you
has
have
begun.
the overlay?
No, not for this frame.
Oh.
Okay. So, for what's it called? I feel like the brutality kind of plays into like one of the show's biggest characters and themes. Is that like Omni-Man and Mark.
The Taylor.
Yeah.
Yes. yeah.
Omni-Man and Mark
He's-
are two like of the strongest beings on the planet. You know what I mean? They're Viltrumites or whatever they are. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Viltrumites.
Yeah,
That's
I think
right.
that's right.
And that's
Vermin.
it's like they can squash people like bugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I get Omni-Man's trying to like prove that point through some of the later episodes with vast acts of brutality, but it's really meant to show that like he just doesn't care. Like these people don't like he's so above this. You know what I mean?
He's indifferent.
And
Exactly.
Indifferent
that
into their
that
lives.
really that like super hit me in the last episode. Obviously, when he's like explaining everything and he's explaining, how long they live, all of these things. Where it's like in the grand scheme of things, when he's like beating Mark almost to death, and he's like, "What's another 17 years? I'll kill you. And I'll just make another kid."
Yeah.
It's like for him, like understanding, like that was the first time where like in watching the show that a lot of his actions seemed not justified but validated, I guess, because he's literally like, what is the life of an ant to me?
Well, I will say this. There was one noticeable visual difference between Omni-Man when he's outed and like everybody knows what he did and everybody knows what he's about. It's when like I said, when he gets
Took a
outed.
huge hit of that dab pen.
Yeah. He he starts what's it called? He starts to float as opposed to walk. He just like, you know, because
Just
what's
showing
the
his
point?
superiority.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, it's like, well, I was just waiting 17 years to see if my offspring will help me rule this, you know, what this wasteland or whatever I'm gonna do with it. And what's it called? Now that whole facade is broken, I'm just gonna float everywhere because fuck walking.
Yeah.
And you know when Mark comes home back with his mom at the very end, and then when he gets
Yeah.
back inside and he starts to float, he's like, oh, much better.
It's like
So
he can
it's
be
like-
free. He can just be himself.
So
I
I
think
wonder if that's like a nice, like, I didn't realize that, Pat, and I wonder if that's like a nice little like metaphorical nod to it.
I think so. I still have like the images of Omni-Man's face as he beat the shit out of Mark in the last episode. Like, which by the way, let's talk about that. These motherfuckers get beat up.
Mark got beat
I
to
do-
shit multiple times.
Like,
Every
I just meant
episode.
in
Multiple
general,
times.
like through the
Inches of his
whole
life.
season. The whole season they're getting their ass beat. Like,
I thought we were just going to talk about the last episode, and I thought
No,
we were
no,
getting
no.
ahead of
There's
ourselves. But
the fact that Mark
No.
has like been in a hospital bed more times than he can count is like unbelievable. That
Like,
was one thing that I could have done with a little bit less. Like, I understand he's coming into his powers, and I understand, you know, he's not going to win every fight, and I love the concept of like vulnerability in your lead character. But like, god damn, they really loved animating
Yo.
this kid get the shit kicked
Yeah.
out of him.
I love the Seth Rogen character. That guy's
Yeah,
the
He's
best.
hysterical.
I love their first encounter, and I love at the end when he comes back and he's like, hey, Invincible, I gotta let you know there's a Viltrumite living among you.
It's like, yeah,
He's
yeah.
like,
Let's
man.
have a seat. Let's talk.
Yeah.
About this. Seth Rogen was the executive producer on it, right?
yeah,
Think so,
Yep.
yeah.
Him and Evan Goldberg.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
and-
also
Just
really liked his voice in it. Like,
yeah.
his,
Yeah,
fit-
it
it fit the
fits the part.
character.
It fits the part
fit the
really well.
character very
Which goes
well.
back to casting. The casting in the show is
Well,
like
phenomenal.
Ezra Miller, I think was one of the standouts of the season.
Mhm.
Like that episode was
Mhm.
crazy.
Wait, which one are you talking
The
about?
one where Ezra the guy is making all the like cyborg people in the sewers.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I
That was
love
nuts.
I love how Mark tries his best to like fight it, but he just can't. He's not well trained enough yet.
Mhm.
And later on, when they're in the dorm room, he's like, "You saw me kill that thing." He's like, "No, Mark, I saw it kill itself."
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
There's a big difference.
But, no, I mean, one thing that I will say, this is the first ever, get off topic a little bit, this is the first ever show I've actually watched on Amazon Prime. One thing I really like is that when you pause it,
I knew
it
this.
shows you who the actors are in that
Oh.
particular scene,
Yeah.
which I never know, because I love to play the
And-
game of like, is this, oh, that sounds like Andrew
They
Rannells.
made it for
and then you
parents
pause it.
everywhere.
What was that?
I said they made it for parents everywhere. So when their child finally moves out and they're like, who's that? Who's that guy in that show?
Pretty much.
And
That,
music
and
too.
it shows you the soundtrack too.
Yeah, the
'Cause there was like
soundtrack.
It
a
does,
couple.
yeah.
I was like, back to back. It was like Vampire Weekend and then Run the Jewels within like 15 minutes of each
Yep.
other. I was like, this is awesome. This soundtrack is incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, they really used, and I know we're jumping all over the place a little bit, but for the soundtrack, I really felt that they used a lot of really cool tracks that exemplified like youth, as well as like it wasn't just like we're gonna put like we're gonna put like typical like weird strings or like, you know, dun da 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 dun da 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 behind
They
things.
put like
yeah,
Run the Jewels in there.
yeah, and it made the scene so much more enjoyable.
Yo, I thought the storyline with Amber was kind of like played out after like the first time she was like, "Hey, I'm breaking up with you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
me,
it was
I feel like I'm Mark's friend now. And you know, nobody wants to see their friend just, you know,
get dumped.
not even get dumped, just get dumped over and over again by the same person.
Well, for,
Yeah.
for me, I felt it the other way. I was just like, for Amber's sake, I was like, just pull the plug on this one because he's not going to change. He keeps doing the same shit.
You have
Rather
to also
than
realize
Why couldn't he be with the
17,
redhead?
like-
Yeah.
What was didn't the redhead like him?
But I mean, like the feeling that Pat was having,
Adam
I
East.
was having it for Amber, not for Mark.
But what? Hold on. But we all agree that he should be with the redhead, though, right?
100%.
I don't
yeah.
think. I don't-
okay. Thank you. All right, yeah. I was like, this
makes
is
more sense.
waiting to happen.
I think it makes more sense just because they are both superheroes. They don't need to explain to each other where they were.
But
Yeah.
that's
There's
too
no need
easy.
to explain it.
That's lazy
That's-
writing.
That's what I was saying. To
Yeah,
Pat
but
the
as
other
far
day.
as
It's like-
cartoon women
it's
go,
the-
I think she's
it-
better looking too. Okay, I'm just gonna go out there and say it.
I'm not
They
even getting
drew-
that. Nick is so shocked. He's that.
Nick is so
frozen.
shocked.
Oh
How
my
shocked he is. I don't
Frozen
even think in
Nick.
terms of looks, not at all. I
He's
just
back,
think in
he's
terms
back.
of
Nick,
fitting.
Nick, after I
personality-wise,
said that,
I think they
you
get along much
froze.
better.
You froze like.
Yeah.
Look at this.
No,
stream.
yeah. All three of you guys froze. It wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, totally.
Classic.
But anyway,
gaslight.
I think personality-wise, I think he just fits a little bit better with Eve. They
yeah, but-
gel. But I mean, that's what they're
That-
setting
that
up for
would
the
make-
later seasons. Is that there's going to be something between them.
I hope
Again,
not.
I think it's. I hope not as well. I think it's both lazy writing, and I think it's like, it doesn't challenge Mark. Mark would not grow.
It's
and
all
Mark
like
would
that teeny weeny beanie shit too.
Yeah, you're watching a show about teenagers deal with emotions, Pat.
Yeah, fuck that. Get out of here.
And they
No,
hardly
fuck you. You're watching the wrong show.
They hardly go into it, and that's what I really liked about it. It wasn't like your stereotypical like we're in high school. You didn't have to watch Mark like stress about a test. Like
That is a
Even
good
though
distinction.
you know that he's failing.
Yeah.
They mention that he's about to
And that's-
fail.
yeah,
his
but
final
he's
year.
not sitting there being like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Mr. Larson's history test is like da 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 like it's like that would have just felt like so dumb to do when his dad
Think
just
about it-
murdered all
Think
of the
about it this way. Think about it this way. You're watching Mark's relationship with Amber develop while you're watching Omni-Man and Debbie's relationship fall apart, and you're watching it's human stories.
They're
And that's the whole thing. The
fantastic
whole
foils.
the whole eight series arc was about like this is what humanity is all about, and Omni-Man doesn't get it. So the fact that you don't understand like this relationship, you're closer to Omni-Man.
Yeah, and I'm
Omni-Man
stronger.
did nothing wrong.
I'm
Yeah,
stronger,
but you
yeah.
wuss out and cry.
Yo, I love the
But
fact.
no, I mean, if anything, the fact that their relationship just devolved, I think, just goes to show that you know what, maybe a superhero can't just be with a civilian. Maybe it
Yeah,
just
but
can't
that-
happen,
Okay,
and
but
that's why
the point
superhero
of
just
it.
needs to stay with a
Yo,
superhero.
we're really here
that's
simping
literally
cartoon
the whole
ladies.
point of it. It's like trying to get the concept of Mark coming into a new changing identity, struggling with the world he knows versus the world that he might be walking into, which is literally metaphor with the fight for his dad. Like,
So be with Eve. That's just
Yeah, that's-
What
that's
about-
simple.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
simple.
yeah. I'm all right. Okay, yeah. See, now did you guys hear what I said before? I said we are really not gonna sit here and simp over two cartoon ladies. Like,
we're not simping. Nick
think
and I are talking
Mike,
about
Mike
story.
and I are two intellectuals over here, and you guys are apes.
do you hear that? Do you hear that, Danny? We're apes.
Mhm.
Y'all lost against us over here being Godzilla.
I don't think so. All right. Anyway, no.
Yeah.
Pat, move us on.
Okay, so I think it's kind of funny how they throw every weapon they have at Omni-Man in the last episode, and then they're finally like, they're pretty much like, they did what Watchmen couldn't, release the squid monster.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they were just like, wow, the squid monster's actually kicking their ass, because when they asked, when Debbie was like, call it off, he was like, no, we can't call it off because I can't tell. Like, this is the only thing that's been working, so I'm not really going to blow my shot right here. You know what I mean? And just the way Omni-Man describes it to Mark is so video game. He's like, didn't you beat this once? Yeah, but it's back and it's tougher. And that's all that
Yeah.
he needed. You know what I mean?
Well, they did mention they took out its pain center, which was I thought was like with a cool
Yeah.
concept.
Oh, yeah.
Just pumped it full
Um,
of
Pain
steroids
center.
and moved its pain.
Yeah, and they just made sure it was like, oh, by the way, he also remembers you. Like,
Yeah.
he remembers
Yeah,
Omni
but,
Man.
Yeah,
Like,
by
they
the
have
way, he
people
only
come up
remembers
dressed in
you.
Omni-Man masks and just like kick it.
So,
I'm Omni-Man.
so
Remember this face.
running off of this, they are working on a live action adaptation of this. Seth Rogen is executive producing that one, but it has no ties to this. It's going to be its own thing.
Why?
So-
Why?
Why?
I have the same
So-
director and not
So,
Weird.
hold on. Obviously, Stephen Young can't be Mark because he's like 38,
Too old.
Mark 17.
Yep.
I would still watch it.
I would watch it.
There
Intellectual.
is some cast that I believe can just leap right off of the cartoon onto screen. And the first two that come to mind, I think are
Mark Hamill.
well, yeah, honestly, Mark Hamill would be number 3, so that's a good guess. I think Sandra Oh as the mom should just
Yep.
she could just
Yeah,
go
that-
right live stream. And what's the other one? Wally Goggins as Cecil. Just put him in a ball cap. He's so good. He's like one of the best parts of the show. Demon Darkblood. I hope they bring him back for season 2.
Damien Darkblood
They-
is
Damien, yeah.
who is that?
They
That's,
bring him back, resurrect him.
What's his name?
I love how they
Clancy
exercised
Brown.
him. Clancy Brown?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah. He was. Do you remember the heist episode of
Oh.
Mandalorian?
Right.
He was the big red guy.
I really
I
love Mahershala Ali's character, who
Yes.
played Mr. Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Yeah.
that episode was fucking sick. Like,
I knew there was something up with that Mr. Stone guy. It
The-
was like
Of
there's
course.
something he's hiding.
You were getting
There's-
too much of a Sandman.
the machine.
yeah.
Is that his name? Machine Head. How he
Yeah,
talks
the
in
boss.
auto tune. I was
Yeah.
like, that is fucking sick. And he's like, you're right. I'm completely outmatched. He's like, but I got money. Like, it's so
Which
great.
That lion guy in that episode,
Oh,
the lion with the club.
He's a
that-
creation
Please.
of the show. He's actually not from the comic book.
Really?
He's actually an original
Oh, cool.
creation. Yeah. So, how much do you guys know about the actual comic book? Because I'm actually
that
probably
was-
going to start picking up because I have,
Yeah.
I have looked up some supplemental material since watching the show. Because I mean, like, I think they'll do what The Walking Dead does, where they pick up like beats here and there,
Yeah.
but they're not going to follow it a direct.
And that's what I did read, and that was actually one of the questions that I wanted to ask y'all was, for me, well, give a little bit of quick background before I jump into that. So the comic has 144 issues, and season 1 covered about like up to like issue 25 in the story. But like what I read was that it did leave out a lot because I mean obviously you got to progress the story along. But this was actually one of those shows where I was like, wow, I really want to like read the comic and start going a little bit deeper. And I don't usually feel that way with like a lot of like other superhero movies or TV and everything.
Oh, dude, there's so
For
much
me-
coming down the pipeline that you guys are not seeing
Yeah.
coming. It's like, now here's the thing. I understand that they need to change things for sake of time, but also they need to change things for the medium too. Things that work
Yeah.
on a comic book panel aren't always going to work on screen. That being
Like
said,
what?
well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me would be Watchmen when they changed the fucking squid to an atomic bomb.
That's true.
I would just I would not cite that as a good example.
Yeah, I would-
cite that
I'm-
as
yeah.
a bad example.
Okay, I would say, see me. I would differ. I would cite that as a good example.
Because I mean, you watched the Watchmen series, right?
Yeah,
They
They showed the squid, and it worked just fine.
it was awesome. It was great.
Nick's wearing his Squid Lover 99 shirt.
squids all
Thanks,
around, everyone. So, what was it gonna? But basically, there is some crazy shit coming down the pipeline, and I am very interested to see what comes in seasons 2 and 3 that got confirmed.
Yeah, it got renewed for 2 additional seasons already.
Yeah. So obviously the response has been great. It all depends on the numbers, and because 130 million people have Amazon Prime, I'm sure a healthy percentage of that was watching this.
Yeah.
One of my things, I kind of felt like there were a lot of storylines going on, and I get that, which is now it's hard for me to believe that there is more that was left out. Like I understand comic books very different. There were a lot of storylines going on, like the robot storyline. Like I understand that's going to come
Oh my
into
God.
play down the road. I'm sure that's going to be important, but I could have done without
Dude.
that in this. I was just
So
like,
you
I
felt
don't-
you felt there were too many.
there were too many. There were too many storylines
Oh,
going
okay.
on
So-
in this type of a show.
Yeah.
I understand it works in a comic book. I felt like that
that's
didn't work in
interesting.
a
You know what's
TV
funny,
show.
Danny, is that I kind of agree with that, except my problem is not with too much story. It's when the subplots are getting in the way of the main mystery. And that happened big time in the last episode when they didn't have enough time to really explain like Omni-Man's deal. And it was just kind of like, son, I've been lying to you. Here's this flashback to explain the entire plot of this show. and then it just cuts back to like, all right, now we're gonna beat the shit out of each other.
I thought it was fine.
I thought
I
it
think-
worked.
I didn't find that there were. I mean, there were only 8 or 9 episodes. Was it? Right.
8.
Eight.
There were only 8 episodes in the season. So I mean, in reality, they could have made it a 10, 12 episode season if they wanted.
I think
to,
they
like,
could have.
expand
I think
things out.
personally, I think they could have went one. Like I'm cool with the whole style of like taking an episode and filling in a character's backstory. That I am a fan of that style of show. I wouldn't have mind if they took an episode and just did that for Omni-Man to get us where we need to go.
I think we'll get that in season.
Or maybe
2.
like a
I
prologue.
agree.
Well, it's funny.
Here's what let me jump in here. So I just want to say, I disagree with Danny's take that there was too many threads going on. Because I felt like everything was balanced, right? The main storyline, I didn't feel like it detracted, and I think it set up so much for the future, like especially that closing sequence. And I just like to little tangent. That closing sequence was great because they didn't cut the show where any other show would, where it's like Mark in the hospital bed and his mom's crying. I thought that was the end of the episode, and then it went on and like showed you, oh, here's what's coming up in the future seasons. But the Omni-Man thing, that's always going to be there. Like they set it up, and we're going to have time to explore that in the next few seasons, where you only have now to really set up story threads for all these other minor characters. And I think they did a great job balancing everything.
Yeah, Burke, you want to go through some of these questions?
Yeah, sure. I'll take you all through. So I was looking a little bit, and I made some quick questions for y'all to see if you have a little bit of takes, and it's really interesting to see what you got. So what do you guys think was your best moment of the whole season? Like, what was the number one thing that kind of stood out that you were like, if I were like, what was cool off the top of your head?
When Omni-Man used Mark to kill all those people on the subway. That right there was the craziest shit I've ever seen in any medium in my life. I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is a other level type of shit.
Like,
and the problem is
emotionally,
people
Yeah.
won't watch this because it's a cartoon, and they'll never see it because they'll never put that in promotional material. But
No, of
they'll
course
never see that, and that changed my life when I saw
Well,
that.
I think Mike was going to touch on this. Do you like that because of how crazy and epic it was, or like did it hit you emotionally? For me, it was like he's really trying to prove this point. Like these people don't matter, and I'm going to prove it with your face.
I kind of feel like it was obviously like it ties into the themes, but also the brutality of it, and it was just a good moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like shows and TVs are made out of a collection of good moments, and this was just a fucking moment that was like, oh my god.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that was nuts. Mine was when Omni-Man crushed the Red Rush's skull, the Flash, basically.
Yeah.
When he crushed his skull, and you see like what is it, Red Rush? I'm pretty sure that's his name, something like that. You
the
see
Flash.
he's like punching like furiously against his chest. And Omni-Man is just not backing down. As slowly you see his eye sockets start to like pop out, and then they cut to his punches, and they're like limp, like weak punches,
broken
and
hands.
broken hands, and you start to see this guy means fucking business. This guy is above and beyond every single other superhero here, and he means business.
Yo,
for me was brutal.
I love how they brought the Immortal back.
Yeah,
Dude.
Oh yeah,
you should have stayed dead.
that
think
was great.
That honestly, that's what I was gonna say when he, and I know it's like it's similar to Danny's, where it's like in the very beginning, where like the most impactful moment of the whole thing was like when you just watched that whole situation of him killing every Guardian so brutally and so easily that when he just like one chops the Immortal's head off, like you just understand like the immensity of his power. And that was the first point. Like that sets up the whole, not that nothing was like as, surprising to me after that, but that's just like, that was like the most like, I was jaw dropped.
He cuts the Immortal in half the second time.
The second
Just
time,
like, fuck you. And
Which is
honestly, we haven't talked
like-
about this yet. We can keep going with questions, but I do want to say this. We haven't talked enough about J.K. Simmons. J.K.
Amazing.
Simmons at Omni-Man is
Incredible. I mean,
incredible.
what's left to be said, like other than J.K. Simmons, is incredible.
He's
The
great.
amount
His
of
range
reserve
is
that he
amazing.
brings to this character is fantastic. Like you can tell, and like in the couple first episodes, like I thought he was just like underplaying the role a little bit, not in a bad way, but just like Omni-Man in this is very reserved. He's very held back. He's very kind of monotone. He's not gruff. He's not overly emotional. And then it's like
Because he
as
doesn't
the story, as the story continues to unfold, you realize it's because he doesn't give a shit. And then you go back and just kind of listen to the voice acting in the first couple episodes, and you're like, oh my god, like he was setting this up.
But does he give a shit
so
though?
that-
I think he does
For
give a
me-
shit.
For me, that ties
Yes,
into
but-
I my moment, like obviously that first scene where he eviscerates the Guardians, that's the obvious one, and rather than me chiming in with that moment, I think my most impactful moment was the flashback to the baseball game where he decides not to kill Mark right there. And it just makes me think back to all of his decisions and how he was getting just like frustrated and aggravated at Mark for not having his powers, thinking that his son was just going to be, a shitty human being. And that really spoke volumes to this, what this character's whole mission is and who he is as a character. Because the mystery, I didn't catch on to it. Maybe I'm a little slow, but I didn't catch on to what his actual plan was until he pretty much just stated it.
No, I'm with you too. Like I didn't understand why. Like I generally I thought he was just gonna be here and be like, secretly his job is to kill Earth, not protect it. I thought it was gonna be something like that.
Yeah.
Which it is, but not as,
Subjugation.
it's more nuanced, yes, but
I will say this though. I know we're all on like this. Everyone thinks like, oh, Omni-Man doesn't give a shit, but he does give a shit though, because what do you fucking think saves Mark in the end? When I heard him say that lie, when I heard him say that line, I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
yeah.
Like you just tied all the themes of the story and these characters into this climactic battle sequence, and you didn't end it with punches, you ended it with a conversation. And that's what pretty much was the conflict resolution. That's how Mark won him over.
So
Here's one instance where Marvel can take a lesson. You don't have to end everything with a big beat 'em up battle.
Right. And Pat, what you're talking about specifically is the whole point of this huge fight is for Omni-Man to really literally beat into Mark the, insignificance of Earth and the insignificant and like how much stronger and forever they'll live. And then when he's like, these people will be gone in 500 years, what will they be? What will you have? And he goes, you, Dad.
I'll have you, Dad. I was like,
I'll have-
oh,
and, like,
shit.
His teeth all missing and shit.
Yeah.
His lip.
And it's just like it spoke so well to Mark's character, and how even like earlier without missing a beat, he just goes and starts fighting his dad. He's like, no, this is the wrong thing to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, no.
God, the last episode's so good.
It is.
Yeah, it really
fantastic.
is. And which is weird because we just came off of a show that the episode was kind of like a wet fart. Whereas in
Yeah.
this one, it was just like, I want more. Give me more.
No.
How'd you guys watch it? Nobody did week to week, right? I just fucking did it all.
I did it week to week.
Oh, you did?
As soon as that came out, I watched it.
Nah, I just did it all in one shot. I like
watched
doing it
all
that
this
way.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did it
I
kinda
started
sporadic.
Friday. I finished it today.
I really liked it week to week. Like, to be honest, like the pacing of it, and I know this is like completely. I just haven't watched a show that is like, we're gonna give you a new episode. Like, I mean, besides like Falcon Winter Soldier, but frankly, to be honest, I didn't give too much of a shit about like the climactic, cliffhangers or anything of those episodes. I didn't think that they were that, impactful, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like what we were saying in the review was that it could have just been a movie. There was no natural breaks in the storyline. It just was like, let's make a really long movie and chop it up.
Yeah. So
And they took some shit out because, Black Widow was supposed to come out before that. I wonder what that show would have looked like if COVID didn't happen. I wonder what a lot of things would have looked like if COVID didn't
Oh yeah.
happen.
Also, just a little mention. I know Pat, you saw this too. That Doctor Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision, and they decided to take him out.
Yeah, I've seen the full quote of that, and the full quote was just like, apparently it was supposed to be like the commercials in that show were supposed to be like him sending a message to her, but they were like, we wanted the show to be about her learning to use her powers, as opposed to like, and this is a direct quote from Kevin Feige, I'm not making this up. He was straight up just like, as opposed to just being like, oh, hey, here's this white guy at the end. He's going to show you how to do everything you need to do. Like,
Oh, right. Yeah.
I was like, okay, fair enough.
Which
you know,
is
that's a good
literal
observation.
trope in storytelling.
Yeah,
So
a little self-awareness.
Yeah.
But no, basically
So-
that's literally what he said though. So
I just don't. I don't understand how the commercials would have been a message from him. So I'm kind of glad they took it out.
yeah, I don't think everything needs to be right up the ass of each other either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shove it right up your
It had
way.
room to breathe. It's connected, but not so much. You know, it's not at the hip.
So going back to Invincible though.
Oh yeah.
So
I got distracted.
this
with
other
Wanda.
question I see here, which I want to ask you guys on. I already know the answer to this question. And that's how will Omni-Man
You know what the answer is?
Yeah, but I'm not going
You
to tell
watched the
you.
trailer already?
I'm not going to tell. Yeah, it's Good Will Hunting. How will Omni-Man return? Plus, is he bringing anyone with him? Like I said, I know the answer to this question already. Doesn't mean they're going to go with it, but I want to know what your guys' take on it is.
I think he's coming back with a fleet of Vegemites just rolling in. They
Vegemite.
got music blasting
Up
as
in
they're
here,
just bumping
up
it,
in
and
here.
it's just they're just rolling in, just boom, 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 and they just go in and just start
Real
fighting
song.
people. There's a big battle in the middle of space with all the Earth heroes. If that's not the way it is, it's the wrong way.
Okay, Nick.
I definitely think he's coming back. I don't really know. That's the reason I'm in such anticipation of the next season. Is I really don't know. I thought he was gonna I was like, I don't see how this episode ends without Mark dead. I couldn't figure a way out of it.
Mhm, same.
So I'm kind of glad that I don't really have any idea how it's gonna play out. I do know that Earth is gonna start prepping and getting ready, which is cool.
What about you, Burke?
So I mean, I think obviously you don't leave J.K. Simmons on the bench. Like your guy,
Yeah.
he's clearly coming back. So I think it's gonna be like a couple episodes in, like maybe like 2 or 3 episodes in, and I think it's gonna be like what I'd love to see is like J.K. Simmons' dad come back and be like, my son couldn't get this shit done, and maybe
Who
we
pla- wait,
have.
hey, who plays
kinda
his
like
dad?
Frieza.
It's Clint Eastwood. His dad is Clint
Ooh,
Eastwood.
ooh,
Like,
that's
That
absolutely.
is good. That is good.
But kind of like Frieza coming back with his dad in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
Just
damn.
like
Is
daddy's
that what
got to
I'm
come in
pulling
and clean
from?
up the job.
That's
that what
the
happened?
subconscious is pulling.
Is that what
was
happened?
that?
I thought Frieza was the worst one. You know, he did the whole. You know,
No,
so
it was-
Frieza. Frieza dies, and that doesn't die,
Yeah.
but however, they find Frieza after Goku goes Super Saiyan the first time, and then he comes back to the planet. He comes back to Earth to kill Earth with his dad, and then Trunks comes from the future and kills Frieza in
by
that
cutting
moment.
off his tail.
By
That's
cut.
right.
Well, no, he cut
Wait, wasn't
him
that
into
Cooler
pieces.
or whatever?
Oh, right.
No, Cooler is the Cooler
So,
is Frieza's
Cooler is
older
the brother.
Cooler is the older
Right,
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cooler is the older
who's
brother,
King
who is
Cold's son.
way
yeah.
stronger than.
Yeah. Thanks,
each of them.
Toonami. Thanks for all of this,
You guys,
Toonami.
you
Yeah,
guys
right?
know the gif of Zach Galifianakis and the math is going by. And he's
Yeah.
confused?
Yeah.
That's me right now. Like,
Well,
down.
so I guess, I mean, all right. Obviously,
Don't
like I
spoil
said,
it for
I'm
me,
not
man.
gonna
Don't,
spoil
like,
it. I'm not gonna spoil
say
it.
a
No,
word.
absolutely not.
But I will say this. I personally don't think, with the information that I know, just because the comic book exists, I think that it'll definitely be a couple episodes into season 2 before he shows up, if at all. You know what I
Ooh.
mean? Like if at all in that season, you know, because there might be a different threat. I don't know about any different. I know there's like crazy shit coming, but I don't know like absolute specifics besides for this one thing. So
ooh, you know what I want? You know what I want to see? Remember the aliens that aged differently?
yeah,
Oh, they had
Oh, yeah,
them in the
they
last.
showed them.
they showed
Yeah.
that.
in the
I
cutscene,
think because they have a vendetta against Omni-Man. They remember him and that, like, you know, like he was like their big bad villain. I want to see them come back and join Mark and the Guardians of the Globe and fight alongside Earth. And maybe the Martians too. You know, I think it's going to be one huge, you know, army versus Omni-Man.
A rebellion, if you
Mhm.
will.
And he's just gonna run train on everything.
On everybody but Mark.
Is this now? Let me ask you a question. So Marvel is, I mean, DC it has been doing the interdimensional alternate reality shit for years. Marvel did it in the comic books for the past like 20 something years. Now they're finally dipping their movies into it. DC's been doing it with their animation, and now they say the multiverse exists, and they're kind of going that direction too. So my question is that something, is that an aspect you would like to be seen to see be brought into this property? Like I know they've
Absolutely
already,
not.
I know they've already done like the portal stuff where it's like, oh, these guys are coming from a different planet and they came through a portal they made. But I'm talking a different Mark from a different universe comes through.
No, that's so lazy. Like
Yeah,
again,
that's
but I mean, I got to take into consideration that this comic was written, back in like early 2000s to like mid 2000s was when like most of it was.
Post 90s, so everything was fucking brutal and grounded. Like everything in the 90s got super outrageous because they wanted the fans to hate it, so the publishers would allow the writers to just do whatever they wanted again. So when they finally got able to do whatever they want in the early 2000s, they were just like, let's go fucking crazy. And that's why this show is the way it is all these years later. So that's a good point.
Yeah, not at all. I would not want I'm so tired of that shit. It's such an easy, like, Deus Ex Machina, not to the situation, but to story writing. Like,
right.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's just lazy writing.
Yeah.
Unlike Mark dating Eve, that's not lazy.
Yeah, that's not lazy.
That's not lazy. She's
yeah.
cute.
As a matter of fact, that'd be the best writing ever.
I think that's way better.
By the way,
Actually,
anyone
if
who
you read my
listens
fan
and you
fiction,
dabble in Rule 34, okay, you guys are lacking on the Adam Eve department, okay?
Pat, do not put a call to action.
All right? I'm just saying,
No, Nick,
these
go ahead
things
and do Pat
need
this time.
to happen, okay?
All right, now we got a show here.
All right.
I'm still on the board,
and then
baby.
I got one more question for y'all. Who would you want to see added for a voice acting, or like, cast as someone who would be a voice actor for season 2 in any specific role? It doesn't matter if you have something in mind, and it can be like,
another casting episode. No, okay.
I just want one character. Like I said, Clint Eastwood as Mark's grandpa.
John Cena.
In what role? In what type of role?
No idea. I think he'd be funny as just like a new superhero. Like he just jumps in and he's just like some new superhero that just discovered his powers, and they have to teach John Cena how to be a superhero.
Invisibility.
You're just writing
Invisibility.
100%. Yeah. Well, no, that's plot B. That's like a bright plot of one of the episodes.
It is invisibility, Pat. Yeah, he'll just.
Actually, hold on. I don't want to. I don't want to detract from this point. But how have we not talked about Justin Roiland's cameo?
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
I want Doug Cheston to come back.
Doug Cheston
with his voice box.
Doug Cheston.
Dude. I love when he fucking falls over in the middle of his line, gets up, he keeps going, and he does the whole fucking Rick thing that.
That's just because that man does not know how to voice act in any other way, and I will eat up anything like that.
It's always great.
What was the question again?
So if you could add a voice actor,
okay,
to any kind of role, like
I know, Kevin Conroy. I would definitely get him on the show. I hear he comes pretty cheap too.
Actually, have him be he could be like Omni-Man's brother or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Omni-Man's brother, Omni-Ham.
John Hamm is Omni-Ham.
John Hamm is in the cast, and I can't figure out who. His name
is. He really?
Oh,
he's listed as Steve, and I'm like, who the fuck is Steve?
Oh, actually,
is he one of the guards?
I will say this: I was reading something else that they said that John Hamm would be a good choice for Omni-Man live action.
That's true.
Actually, yeah.
But I mean, why not just use J.K. Simmons?
Though I like.
It's kind of fucking old. So, that might be why.
He would get ripped. He would get ripped.
I've seen, dude, at 62, he is ripped. Have you ever seen him?
Yeah.
But
no, but he needs to he's real lean. He needs to mass
the
up.
guy was a Broadway actor for years before he went into
Are we talking about Ham or Simmons?
J.K. Simmons. Okay, I'm just saying the guy is built. All right, Broadway actors have to be in incredible shape.
Although I do like this Omni-Ham character, and they just make him really fat and overweight.
This is the alternate. This is the alternate universe. Is where they.
Omni-Ham. You're gonna eat that Danish.
Imagine if he
Look at
landed
this
on a
message.
planet where superheroes weren't a thing. He landed on a planet where every motherfucker on, everybody's got some sort of powers. He's like, oh, well, I could just be a superhero for a while.
Why Omni-Man? What does that even mean? Somebody educate me.
I'm gonna guess it's like omnipotent, all powerful,
Yeah, like
omnipowerful.
everything.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
God, man.
I would want to. So the Justin Roiland thing, I want to see Dan Harmon come in as a voice character, and I just want to see him like rap, maybe just some side character, just do some improv rap scene.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, but overall, we think it's good though, right? We would definitely
Dude,
recommend this.
100%.
I'm
Highly
legit.
recommend.
Like, I would give this. I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 because I mean, like, that's just like simping, and we don't simp on this show.
Unless
Dude,
it's for
fuck
Eve.
you.
Unless
All
it's
right,
not on
I
me,
simp.
I'm trying
that's
to
not
understand
simping.
I
That's
simp
storytelling.
literally everything I talk about on this show. I don't know if you've
Exactly.
watched this
But
show.
no, dude, I'd give it a serious like 8.5 out of 10. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I would
so
give it a
excited,
solid-
like,
I would give it a rock hard throbbing 9 out of 10.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8. I'd give it an 8 just because there were some storylines that I was just like, I feel like we could do without that one. But other than that, it was solid.
Yeah.
I'll give it 2
Get you on
thumbs
some-
up.
I'll
Ooh,
tell you
that's
what,
it.
if he gets together with Eve in season 2, it's already got a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Just play the clip of the week, Pat.
Wait. Have Danny and Mike, have you seen this clip yet?
No.
I have not.
Oh man, you're in for a treat.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, it's the clip of the week. Oh, it's the clip of the week. It's the clip of the week.
Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. Sorry, boys. Give me a second.
What have you done?
Clip
No.
of the wild.
How does the clip of the week? Just keep the track going.
All right. We're good.
Can we hear that custom
Can we-
phone call sound again?
Oh, sure. Of course you can. Recording. Bring, bring, bring.
Wait, do you is recording?
Recording is in it, yeah. Recording is part of it.
Oh my gosh.
You.
All right. Can you guys see the screen
Yeah.
now?
Yep.
All right, let's do this shit.
Guy looks like one of my coworkers.
This video is fucking crazy. I have seen it.
Great conversation.
It was his first day on the job.
I'm getting angry.
I didn't know you like to get
It's
wet.
30 seconds in, and I didn't know you like to get wet.
Wow, what a great podcast. 40 seconds of silence.
Couldn't cut this down.
I thought it was the shorter version.
Yeah, something tells me you could trim this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of build up. It's fine. It's gonna
5
be
minutes.
worth it.
Any second
Oh.
now.
Oh. I'm seeing a guy obey the laws of the road. Oh.
They just got shot up?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh man.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yo.
That's a serious gun.
Yo, yeah.
Yo, it looks like they're just driving sideways.
Yep.
So they're getting like run off the road or like shot at by another
Now,
car?
it,
They're,
are
like,
those
run-
dogs in?
They're in a bank truck right now, like one of those armored cars.
Okay.
I was losing like, what the fuck is in the back? I was like, those dogs.
I think that's their reflection.
Oh
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You can see they're
Dude,
just breathing.
That dude is shook on the
He
right.
is shook.
He's got a
He wasn't
1,000
prepared
yard
for
stereo.
actual robbery.
Nope.
Okay. Great driving by this guy. I think. I can't see the road.
Guy's a seasoned veteran.
They're gonna shoot. They're gonna fucking shoot.
They're gonna shoot.
Yo, that's some solid glass.
Run,
Yeah.
Robbie.
They better kiss that glass when they get out of here.
Run, Robbie. Run, Josh.
God damn.
If they get out.
Mark him with
The
out.
fucking PTSD from this
Dude,
shit.
that dude on the right cannot process this. He is
Yeah,
not focused.
he's shook.
He's at the factory default right now.
Yeah. He's autopilot.
This other guy though,
Okay.
fucking.
I gotta see the dash cam of this.
Fucking shoot him. He lied to him. He lied to him.
Are they like getting rammed right now, or are they just going over shit?
I don't know. It's like they're stuck right now.
Dude, put the phone down, my guy.
You gotta tell the cops.
Get the gun. I love how he just took the gun.
Oh,
That other dude was just sitting there. That other
end
dude.
of the clip.
That other dude was just sitting there, man. This guy right here, he is.
But if you
He
notice,
was-
Pat, go to like 10 seconds before the end of the clip. So the guy's getting out with the gun, and then you see the white SUV roll up. Look on the other
Yeah.
side of the car.
On the left or the
right
right?
side?
On the right side. It's like he's about to go have a battle.
Wow.
Don't fuck with me.
that was fucking
Damn.
crazy.
Dude.
That driver. I mean, props
Yeah,
to that driver.
what an appropriate, like, impactful clip while talking about Invincible. Like, this
Yeah.
had the same, like, emotional resonance.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna go call my mom after that one.
You got a week until Mother's Day
I'm gonna cry into my pillow for
Mom,
that one.
I'm gonna get some bulletproof glass.
for Mother's Day.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, Danny, I love you.
That's exactly how she sounds. You nailed it.
I didn't know that your mom was from Staten Island, Danny.
Okay, Danny.
That's
Yes,
what that's
I love you.
that's why they call him STD, Staten Island Danny.
Damn right. Got
STD.
that tattooed.
Staten Island Danny. Well, they call him Sid. SID.
Yeah, I said it and I was like, oh shit.
Sid.
That doesn't work.
Island Danny.
Stan.
The ST in Staten.
Nick, you said that like a guy from Staten Island. That's what we
Hey,
call
the
him. STD. Staten
Hey.
Island Danny.
Hey, it's all STD over here. What's going on?
All right. Well, thank you very
Cool.
much, everyone, for listening and/or watching. We do this every week, once a week. And yeah,
And
I don't have anything
special
else.
thanks to Batman. for
Special
doing
thanks
absolutely
to
nothing.
Batman for coming on the show and doing nothing.
Just fucking up.
Semiconductors.
Yeah, semiconductors. Yeah.
Hanging
If
dong.
you like this, you can subscribe, like this video because that definitely helps out. And yeah, check out our other shows. Follow us on Instagram at NerdShitLive. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.